Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar on academics at Vedica. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Mohini, this is Sandeep.
Hi everyone.
We work at the academic committee at Vedica, and we'll talk to you about different aspects of the program. Just a few things to begin with. In case some of you have attended the webinar, then you would know this already. But for newcomers, there's a chat box on the right. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put in your questions on the chat box, and we'll be happy to answer them in real time. As you all might be aware, the deadline for applying for this round of the Vedica applications is tonight.
Yeah.
So if any of you have either started or not started your applications, this is a great day to begin and finish your applications, and please submit them by tonight. We have a rolling admission process, and we assess applications as they come in. So the earlier you apply, the better it is. So we really encourage you all to fill in your applications by tonight.
Yeah, especially the people who've completed their apps 20%, 30%, and onwards. It's a great time to complete your app because tonight is when we start reviewing all the completed apps for this round. Otherwise, your app will fall into the next round.
Yes. So yeah, today's webinar will mostly be focused on academics, but in case you have questions about the program apart from academics, please feel free to put them in the chat box as well.
Yeah. So let's start out with the webinar by talking about liberal arts track and academia in general.
Yeah.
So for those of you who've attended academics webinar before hosted by Vedica, we have 4 tracks at the academic program here, starting with management, liberal arts, communications, and personal growth. Right? Mohini and I will take you through these 4 tracks, but today we're going to focus on the liberal arts track, and we want to tell you why liberal arts is important for a program like ours. I can see we already have a question. We will address your question in a minute. Let us just introduce the topic to you. Right? So Mohini, would you like to take them through why you need management and liberal arts in a management practice program?
Yeah, so we get this question often about why when you do a traditional MBA, you of course study subjects like economics and there are some supplementary subjects that you would do with MBA courses, but at Vedica you have a very sustained focus on liberal arts throughout the 18 months that you're here. And this has been a very deliberate process. If you know about our founders, one of our co-founders is Pramath Raj Sinha, who has also been involved. He was the founding dean at ISB Hyderabad. He is one of the founding trustees at Ashoka University. So, having seen the management education world as well as the liberal arts space, I think we realize that there's an importance for these 2 different disciplines to have a conversation with each other. It's not enough to study each of these disciplines in isolation. Even if if you want to go into the corporate world and say be an accountant or be in finance, right. I think you can't ignore aspects of society like sustainability or think courses like philosophy, psychology. Why are they important to be in a managerial role in a corporate world? I think those are the things that we really want to address here about why it's important to be a holistic professional, and it's not enough anymore to be a unidimensional professional who, of course, you must be familiar with management skills and you must be familiar with skills in whatever field that you're going to go into, but it is also as important to know about the world, to know about sociology, about psychology, about philosophy, about literature, about gender, and that's we will talk about some of these things in detail, and feel free to ask about anything in particular if you'd like.
Right.
But that's really the reason that we decided to combine management education with a liberal arts focus.
Right. I think it would be fair to say that our program is designed to create leaders for tomorrow. So when we speak about leadership, when we look at leaders from a lens of being someone who is able to understand the problems at the workspace, especially problems that are gendered, right? So for something like that, I think a management track would not be sufficient.
Yeah.
Or a traditional B school would not address gendered issues at the workspace, right?
Yeah, and since we're talking about gender, maybe we could go into how we address gender in the liberal arts track. Should we quickly respond to the question that's come in? So this is a question around acceptance of offer letters for Vedica. So if you have received an offer letter from us, you can send it. You must send it by post because it needs to be signed by you. And it says, if I do payment of acceptance fee by NEFT, how do I send a detail via post? Yeah, I mean, just send us the details by post, but you can also email us a screenshot of this, and then we can let you know once we receive the payment. And if there's any more detailed questions around this, you can always email admissions@vedicascholars.com. There are some more application related questions coming in.
And Aishwarya Singh asks, how many people apply for one batch and how many people are finalists selected for one cohort? So there isn't a number for a cohort right now. It is the composition that we are more concerned with. As to how many people apply for a batch, our numbers range from 1,000 to 2,000. I think last year we received over 5,000 applications. This year our completed apps are closer to the 1,000 mark. But what you need to understand is Vedica, the admission process at Vedica does not look at CAT scores. It does not look at merit. It looks for potential. That is the marker that we're going for. That is what you should be concerned about. As an applicant, you need to display to us if you have the ability to undergo this program and transform into an individual who can be a leader in the industry someday. That is something that we're looking for. We are looking for world awareness. We are looking for what you've done so far. We are not looking if you are the best student in your class, right?
I hope that answers the question. We were talking about gender, and I just wanted to point out that we do have a very well-attended popular gender studies course at Vedica. This is facilitated by one of the most pioneering leading feminists in the country. Her name is Alicia Battaglia. Some of you may know her as a writer, as a publisher of Zuban books. And she delivers a very interesting course on women, society, and changing India. And this course traces women's movements in history, and especially in India. And she really, I think what the course does for the students is that everyone is aware of, broad gender issues, but she really gives you facts and information to sort of inform yourself before you can form your opinion about feminism. And I think a lot of us sometimes shy away from the word feminism, and it can be seen as a negative. It's, sometimes some people put a very negative term, but what we want for you all to do is to sort of claim that word for yourself and find your own personal feminism and your definition of feminism. Nobody's going to tell you what it should be for you, but I think what the faculty can do for you is at least give you a basic understanding of theory and history within that field, and then that will then take you to the next step where you can form your own opinions and have a nuanced understanding of the subject.
Right, and that's definitely one of the courses that really starts the program on a direction for progress. When we speak about a holistic management practice program, I think it's essential to cover this topic right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And we do follow up with courses in critical thinking, critical analysis, which falls under the communications track. There's also a whole personal growth track, which not just at the workplace, but personal growth directly refers to the individual and individuals' unique growth tracks that could lead them on path to leadership or manager tackling a situation at the workplace where they have to do their colleague or promotion. How does one deal with that? So some scenarios like that are definitely addressed, and of course, feminism is one of the topics that's addressed at the liberal arts track. There are many more such topics. For example, we have courses on sociology, psychology. There's also design thinking.
So I think, and again, like we said, the liberal arts track is sort of it sort of supports the management track in the sense that what we want is for everyone to have an understanding of different disciplines. So if we're teaching you philosophy,
right,
of course, you're not going to go into that, you may not go into that field full time as an academic, but it's important for you to understand the principles and the basic tenets of philosophy to then be able to apply it to your everyday work as well. So these are going to be short modules, but what they'll do is they'll open up a whole new world of readings of philosophers, from say ancient Greek philosophers to ancient Indian philosophers. And you start using what they've said, thousands of years ago, but these are still things that are very relevant to how you can apply critical thinking to your workplace. So,
understanding first principles, and how. So I personally handle the comms track, and when we speak to our scholars, we understand that they are not graduates of mass communication, even though there is a dedicated track for communications. Right? So we want our scholars to develop the idiom of the workspace. Right? When we say that, we don't just want you to use frameworks that a typical B school graduate would use. We want you to be able to converse in a language that's relevant, that's contemporary, right? So these 4 elements allow you to be that individual.
That I just wanted to broadly talk about the faculty, and I do want to say that because we have a visiting faculty model, which means that all of our faculty sort of come in, deliver the course, and then they all are either well-known academics or industry experts in their own fields. So because of that model, it's we're really fortunate to have some excellent people on our faculty list. So for example, Dr. Pranab Sen teaches a course in economics as soon as the students start their program at Vedica, and he was the first chief statistician of India. Professor Rudrangshu Mukherjee, who's one of the most well-known historians of the country, teaches a course in history, and he has actually adapted his usual course to highlight women in history. Indian women in history. Then we have Alicia Battaglia, like I said, who does the gender course. We have Professor Sundar Sarukai, again an extremely respected, who teaches philosophy, extremely respected philosopher and academic. So I do want to say that all of these things not just add to your understanding of a subject, but they'll also they really do open up a whole new world, and just teach you so many. It just gives you exposure into that field delivered by experts who are respected in their particular fields. Should we go over some of the questions that we've got?
So Aishwarya asks, will anyone get an email if they are not selected for the program, since we would be eager for a response?
Right. I think, so like we said, we do have a rolling process, and you will get to know if you get admission, and you'll be informed if you're on the wait list. I don't think we send out notifications if you don't get admission. So I think if you don't hear from us,
you could always write to us.
You can always write back to us and ask if there's been a decision. But I think you will hear from us if you do get admission. How many credits do we get at the end of the course? So this is an 18-month program, and you'll have 13 terms of courses. Each term is about 6 weeks long, and there are actually 60 credits by the end of 18 months that you will be completing.
Right. Bhuvni writes, I got selected for 2021 batch of VSPW. I sent the security deposit. When shall I expect the hard copy? You can get in touch with Inara. I think she would have sent an email to you already. And she will respond to you ASAP.
Just write to admissions@vedikascholars.com in case you haven't received something that you're expecting in terms of acknowledgement of a receipt. So she'll immediately get back to you. We try to be extremely prompt with our responses. So you will hear from us if you have any queries.
And Anisha writes, hey there, I'm really interested in social impact consulting and has been wondering if the placements include organizations like Dalberg, FSG, McKinsey, Bain, or BCG. Right. So I would like to point out there's a separate webinar on placements addressing this particular question already. You can go to our website and click on placements to see which companies visit us during the placement season.
I think, if the companies that you've named haven't come on campus yet, they have, but some of the students, there are very few students who are interested in that space. So I think it's important to know that the careers committee, the way that they function is very customized to the student group. So we are very aware of how many students are interested in which field,
Right.
and the companies that we bring onto campus is really driven by that. So, and I can tell you that a handful of students over the last 4 years have been interested in this space. I think the companies that you may be interested in would, the companies that have hired are like Tata Trusts and
Yeah, they have.
some of the public sector companies. But I mean, if we know that this is a field that you're interested in, and if you have the expertise for it, if you show interest in it, and you inform the careers team, it is something that will be brought to campus
Right.
for you. So,
And I think it's important to also mention at this juncture, since we are speaking of placements, and I think that's one of the major concerns for some of our applicants. It's important to understand that Vedica's mission is not just to place students, it is to keep them at the workspace, right? Which is more difficult to do than to join a McKinsey or a Bain, right? So that being said, we do have consulting firms coming in and hiring. There's ASG that's headed by our founder and dean. Our scholars have our policy consulting. Our scholars have worked in McKinsey and Bain. Dalberg, some of the other names that you've mentioned, perhaps if there's a special interest in that, our careers department would look into it. But rest assured, we are not training you to get a high-paying job here. We are training you to become a leader in the workspace, to join a firm that would be nourishing for you, that you could extract the most out of and have a fruitful professional career.
Yes. Having said that, the average salary over the years
has only gone up.
Has been between 9 to 10 lakhs per annum for each scholar. So, we are very aware that we are trying to sort of get a best fit and best match in terms of salaries as well, but also to, like Sandeep said, to make sure that it's a meaningful career choice for you. So that's a very important aspect. Anisha also says that she's excited to be a part of the Vedica cohort, and we are really excited to welcome you this August. So congratulations.
See you soon. Okay. The next question is, how long should we wait before emailing you? You can email us right now.
Yeah, I think if you're talking about between your interview and the offer, I mean, if you haven't heard from us in, say, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you can definitely email us and we'll let you know if a decision has been taken. Is the course recognized if applying for US universities later in life? It will be. So it will be at par with other postgraduate programs. Of course, as everyone is aware, we are not affiliated with the AICTE. So it is not, you will get a postgraduate certificate, which is recognized. A lot of our students are studying in universities abroad and they have applied for higher studies. So it will not be a problem. You'll have a transcript which will mention the courses that you've done, the faculty that you've been taught by. So I don't think that's something you need to worry about at all.
Right. So the next question is again by Ashwarya Singh. She wants to know, she knows the maximum packages, she wants to know the minimum packages.
For the finance
placement. The finance placements.
So it's very difficult to say this, in a sweeping way, because it depends completely on the company and the role. But in terms of maximum and minimum packages at Vedica, I can tell you that for freshers, the packages at Vedica are somewhere between 6 to 8 lakhs.
It begins from 6.
6.
And actually, the highest package offered last year was to a fresher.
Yeah, actually, that's true. And it was at 22 lakhs.
Yeah.
So it completely depends on the kind of role that you're applying to and the company that it is. But yes, that is the range of the packages at Vedica is between 6 to 22. But the average package has been around, last year it was 10.2 lakhs, the average package.
Okay.
60 credits are too many for even 2 years. Are the lectures short? Yeah, so actually the structure of the course is very different from what you would find in a conventional 2-year MBA program. Each course is a 20-hour module which comprises of 1 credit. So we look at this. I don't know if you're familiar with the ISB structure, but it's structured a little bit like the academic program there. And it is an 18-month program. So we ensure that, you have enough credits. And there are credits in management, credits in liberal arts, communication, and personal growth. So you will be covering all of those and those. And this also includes credits that come from the Shadow Woman Leader program, which is also part of
Right.
it's a very crucial part of the program. So it does cover everything, and you'll
Yeah.
see how it sort of plays out, but we don't.
Yeah, I think
It
it's
is a
important
rigorous
to
program.
understand that one course does not equal to one credit.
Yeah.
Right. So that's not how you would look at this program. And if you are concerned about your well-being here, I think that is our concern as well. That's
Yes.
on the top of our priority list. And
I think there's no doubt that it's a rigorous program.
definitely.
But we make sure that students have enough time for self-study, enough time for group work. Even if you look at the lectures and the number of hours that you study in the classroom, it's not all lecture-based. There are workshops, there are role-play simulations,
outbound modules.
So it's extremely varied in terms of pedagogical styles as well. You'll find that it's not a monotonous lecture-based classroom only.
And a good way to look at these 18 months would be, how do I make the most out of this? Some scholars choose to attend all the guest lectures of everyone who visits the university. There are seminar series happening. People opt for internships, which is outside of the program. They are working with their program mentors. Once the shadow module is over, they get projects from there as well. So 60 credits is only part of what this program offers. There's a lot more here for you to engage with, and you can do that once you speak more with us. Look at our website, what are the different avenues where you can learn, and
Aishwarya, there is absolutely no need to apologize for asking too many questions. We really love an engaged audience, so please keep the questions coming. There is a question from Shriti Pandey. Since I'm going to join Vedica from August, I would like to know how should we prepare ourselves before joining the course? Okay, that's a very good question. Sandeep, do you want to?
How should we prepare ourselves before joining the course? I think one of the things that the admissions team does is they give them a reading list.
Yes.
I think you should definitely read all of those books because they are closely connected with the tracks that are offered here. Some of those books have been suggested by me. And you will find that a contemporary understanding of the business world and politics and culture at large is what you should be focusing on right now.
I think that's what I was going to come to as well, because what we do focus on at Vedica is not just a classroom learning, but we want you to be able to apply all the concepts that you learn in the classroom to what's going on in the outside world. So it is a very application-based program. And for example, if you're studying a particular concept in economics in class, we want you to be able to read the news and be able to make sense of what you're reading about the Indian economy. And so all of this comes from being socially aware, politically aware. And I think that's very important for you to do from now itself. If you know you're joining, and actually this is not just for Vedica, right? It's just to generally be a socially aware citizen and professional. But I think it would really help for you to do that before you come in. Just to say that when you do join Vedica, the first term comprises of a lot of foundation courses. So everyone will be sort of brought up to speed and brought on the same page by doing some of the 101 courses, as we call them, where you are looking at an overview of what you'll be doing for the rest of the months, and you will be just sort of getting a foundation in terms of all the courses that you'll be doing later. Right. So for now, yes, I think the reading lists, being aware of current affairs and things like that would really help.
And that's something you have to do while you are at the program as well.
Yes.
Reading the newspaper and popular magazines is mandatory here. So read newspapers, read magazines, watch the news.
Especially the business and economic section.
The business and economic section.
I've noticed that most people shy away from that section, and it may be out of your comfort zones, but try and apply your mind to it. Try and push yourself to read that, just because you want to be familiar with some terms, and you will get more and more familiar as you join the program and progress. But we want you to be able to at least have those on your fingertips and know what's going on in the world, especially because you're going to be management students. I think that's very important.
Right. So there are a few more questions which we will address in a bit, but let's get back to the liberal arts track and the feedback we've received from recruiters in the past. Yeah, Mohini, like let's talk a little bit about what our recruiters say about our students, and why liberal arts is essential to that
Yeah,
feedback
so
that we receive.
again,
Yeah.
it ties back to what we were just talking about in terms of current affairs as well, right? So I think when, I mean, a lot of recruiters, and these are recruiters who go to some of the most premier
Yeah,
management
management
institutes,
institutes in the country.
IIMs, ISB, all of that. So they do have, when they speak to us and give us feedback, it is from a perspective of having seen their peers across management institutes. And I think what Vedika scholars have been recognized for is one, of course, their communication skills. So, kudos to the VWCC, the Vedika Writing and Communication Center, for really focusing on communication skills and effective communication at the workplace. But I think the other really important thing is just the right attitude towards working. And also the ability to be able to connect the dots. So we say this a lot at Vedika about connecting the dots. Of course, it's first important to collect the dots while you're at Vedika. So all of the things that you receive in terms of inputs from these different liberal arts disciplines, they really do add up to something. And so, if you're interviewing for a finance role, you would be able to talk about ethics or sustainability or public policy, and then be able to connect all of those things together. So I think it's really important for today's contemporary professional to be able to do that. Otherwise, it's not enough to work in isolated fields anymore. So I think that again, that's a quality that Vedika scholars have really been recognized for, and which is why recruiters like Nestle, Deloitte, KPMG, Google, they've all come back to campus year after year. So because they've seen the difference in Vedika scholars, and they have obviously seen something valuable that the scholars bring to their company. So
and it goes both ways. We've also had students from the humanities background who've come into this scholarship, the program, and taken up jobs such as product lead, product management, etc.
And they're excelling there because their background was in literature actually, and then they studied the management courses here, and they could connect both liberal arts and management, and they're doing excellently because they're like right hand people of the most the leaders of the company. So that it really shows that there is something that is clicking in terms of this connection that they're able to make.
And this track is sort of a symbol for Vedika's understanding of the workplace. We have moved far from the assembly line, and it's important for the today's workers to understand the product, to understand customers, to understand how you derive value in the industry, right? How do you provide value to your customers? And to be able to do that, you need to connect to people, and people are not unidimensional. Right? That's where this track comes in. It helps you understand who you will be speaking to, who will be deriving value out of the services that you will provide. Even if you're just sitting in a cubicle and crunching numbers, you need to have a person at the end in mind who will be the beneficiary, right?
And I'm just going to connect this to Aishwarya's question about specialization at the end of the course. And I think it's a very deliberate choice to have a generalized degree because, of course, you have a generalized management degree, but we also make sure that every student who comes into Vedica studies every course that we've curated for them. And this is important because we feel like some of the specializations can be learned on the job. And of course, you'll have enough knowledge of finance, enough knowledge in marketing, enough knowledge in HR, organizational behavior, operations. So you will have quite a detailed understanding and knowledge of all of these fields. But we feel like the rest of the specializations can be taken care of at the workplace. But we want everyone to be able to study all the management subjects, but also all the liberal arts subjects and communication subjects. And the one track that we haven't spoken about yet is actually the personal growth track, which is an extremely important part of making the students who they are at the end of the 18 months, because it really helps them understand themselves, understand their strengths, get into things like negotiations or navigating leadership success or group dynamics, which again plays such a huge role in making you a successful professional at the workplace.
The emphasis always has been and will be on the individual, though we have various lenses that we employ to teach people these skills, but the emphasis will always be in in developing a well-rounded holistic individual at the end of 18 months, right? Which is why the program is prescribed, right? The next question is,
I think there was something before that about social clubs and activities.
right.
So just to say that it's a completely student-led space where students have been setting up extremely active social clubs. So,
Yeah.
for example,
You had
the
some
most
interesting names for this club. as well.
yeah, there are some very interesting ones.
Yeah.
I think one of the new clubs at Vedica has been Sustainability Club, which was just set up last year. They've been doing some incredible work in terms of waste segregation, plastic disposal in the campus and in the
Right.
hostel as well. There's a marketing club that runs regularly. It's actually facilitated by one of our really good faculty members as well.
Yeah.
But it's an informal marketing club where they can sort of crack marketing cases, discuss marketing strategies. So it's very, it's completely based on people's interests.
Yeah.
And
There is also the feminist reading club.
there's a feminist reading
Yeah.
club where now students are meeting every Friday to discuss certain feminist texts.
Yeah.
There is the Sulk Club.
There is
There's
of
a
course the
Sulk
Sulk
Club
Club.
where people discuss everything that is frustrating them in terms of politics in the country, and it's really a space to vent. So they range from very management focused, interest based clubs to very socially aware clubs like the Sustainability Club or fitness and health. There are some groups that focus on that. So it's very, very student led, and it really is heartening how much effort the students put into keeping these activities.
Yeah. The next question is, will there be any specializations?
This I
we have
addressed,
already
yeah.
addressed. Okay.
So Anisha has asked about magazines like Caravan, EPW, Economist, and papers like India Spend. That's great. Really glad that you're following these. I think some of the newspapers like Mint, Financial Times, Economic Times as well. I think these three would be really good papers to follow as well if you want to keep in touch with business and economic news.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
I think you're reading the right stuff. As far as newspapers are concerned, stick to the business section, read the editorials.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so just a quick reminder to everyone, if you have any more questions, use the chat box. The round 2 applications end tonight, so please complete your applications. If you have any further questions regarding your application, ask us now.
In fact, I hope you all follow Vedica on Facebook, on Instagram, YouTube, of course. But on Facebook and Instagram is really where you'll see what's going on in the program on a daily basis almost. So what's happening in academics, what's happening in student life.
Yeah.
If there are some interesting public talks that you all can attend, you'll find out about that on Instagram and Facebook as well.
We always have people coming over from the industry. We have academics, we have practitioners teaching at the university. You also have the option of coming to the university, attending one of our classes to get a feel for the program before you get an admit. So if you want to do any of those things, write to us, info@vedicascholars.com. There's also a number attached. You can call that number.
I think I think so. Really, the focus today was about liberal arts. But I mean, even if you all have any other questions, like I'm glad that there are so many questions coming in. But even if you have other questions, please feel free to ask.
Yeah. Okay. So Nidhi has a question for us. I have an interview coming up next week. Please share a few tips for doing well in the interview. Right. Let's discuss the interview process a little bit. Like we started off by saying that we are looking for potential. Our concern is not an 80%, right? We are looking for an individual who's curious. We are looking for an individual who's made an effort to read and to develop themselves before they enter the program.
I think this is especially relevant at this point when a lot of people have taken the CAT exam recently, and the results have come out, and people put so much pressure on themselves and put so much importance on this one exam that it's really what we're trying to fight here. We're really trying to fight the fact that everything doesn't depend on that one exam that you may succeed at or that you may mess up because of something external as well. So I think we really want to fight that system, and we want to say that we accept people for who they are and for the potential that they have. And because of the training that we provide in terms of communications, personal growth, and of course the expertise in liberal arts and management, all of those things will be covered while you're at the program. But it is important for us to see that drive in you. It's important for us to see that potential in you, to have a basic understanding of who you are and what you want out of the program as well, and also a basic alignment with what we do at Vedica as a women's program. I think that's something that we hope.
So first of all, go to our website, read everything.
Yes.
Read everything that's there on our website. I hope you followed some of our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn pages.
We have so many videos. There are so many webinars that have explained
YouTube,
things on YouTube. The website is quite comprehensive. So you should, it is really. We've had so many people who've come in for an interview and may not be aware of even the basic curriculum at Vedica, and that's very discouraging, because then if for whichever interview you go for, you must do your research before coming in for the interview. So I think that's the first thing you need to do. And like we said, an awareness of what's going on in the country, in the world. Do keep in touch with the news. We do expect you to have knowledge about the field that you come from. So whichever subject you've studied, we expect you to be able to answer questions related to that.
More importantly, just have an understanding of what the program is trying to achieve. This is not just a program for management graduates or people who want to start their own business. This is a program for developing individuals who want to be at the workspace, who want to remain there, and who want to develop fulfilling and meaningful careers. So please go to our website, look at our mission statement, see where you fit in.
Yes.
Right? That's important. It's important to understand if you fit in with the vision. Right? And if you are someone who believes in yourself and someone who's looking for an avenue for growth, I think the Vedica Scholars Program is a great place to be. The next question is from Krishna. What about placement in the college? Okay, we just addressed placements, but we'll just give you a refresher on that. Placements at Vedica, we promise 100% placements. And how we do that is we assess each individual and try to map them to organizations that would be fitting for their career aspirations. Anything else you want to talk about placements in terms of numbers?
Like Sandeep said, it is a 100% placement guarantee at Vedica, and the support is throughout. So the careers team will be supporting you throughout your time here, and not just the careers team, but also your program mentor. So everybody who comes into the program will be assigned a program mentor from the industry. So you will have someone to sort of speak to about your decisions, about your confusions, dilemmas, all of that while you're at the program. Then of course you have the shadow program before you start your placement process, which again really helps, because of course some people also get a pre-placement offer from their shadow mentors if you perform really well. But otherwise also it gives you a really great, especially if you're a fresher, it gives you great insight into what the workplace will be like, and what you want to do in the future. And so in terms of placement support, it's extremely robust. It's sustained. It's throughout the 18 months. And sorry, you were
if you're concerned about numbers, all the numbers are on our website, and I want you to understand that placements at Vedica is it's not about numbers. It's about a sustained and meaningful career that you should be thinking about, and not just the highest and lowest package that's been offered. Right? That being said, placement has a lot to do with the network that you have access to and the social capital that you are being introduced to. And the Vedica ecosystem is extremely rich. As we said, we have practitioners and academics both at the university. They're coming and speaking to our scholars. They're teaching here. They're associated through our mentorship programs and a host of other avenues that we have created.
Just to get to Aishwarya's question about program mentor and shadow mentor. So yes, these are two separate things. And a shadow mentor is, of course, the woman mentor that you'll be assigned for your 6-week shadow a woman leader module, which is a full 6-week engagement. As all of you may know, it's internship substitute at Vedica, where instead of interning with a team in a company, you actually work directly with the CEO or the leader of the company, almost as an EA to a CEO role. So this will be the shadow mentor. The program mentor is actually assigned to you as soon as you enter the program, and this is usually a male mentor. So we've done this deliberately, where we know that you will have a woman mentor as a shadow mentor, but you also have a group of male mentors who are extremely senior people from the industry, from the corporate world, who are available to meet you every month or speak to you every month and guide you in terms of your professional decisions. So this has really been a successful program because you firstly get perspectives from both genders in some sense, but also just guidance throughout. And we really do focus on the power of mentorship, and we want to make sure that every student here gets enough mentorship from different channels and can leverage that for their success.
Right, right. So Anisha has another question for us. Um, Vedica is quite an intensive program. So how do the scholars blow off steam? Is there a way to be out of campus and just socialize?
Excellent question.
So it is an intense program. We will not say that it's an easy program to clear and complete. However, that being said, the well-being of the scholars is of utmost importance, and we do have outbound modules.
Yes.
We have a host of activities happening, including the clubs and societies.
Yeah, so I think some of the clubs and societies are student-led, but even in terms of celebrations,
Right,
there are definitely a lot of things going on. If you actually follow our Instagram page, our official Instagram page, and there's an unofficial Instagram page called
Right.
Inside Vedica, where you will get an inside scoop into what the scholars are up to. But there's they do find a lot of time to socialize, get time with each other. And we've seen at the end of 18 months, they really do become a very strongly bonded cohort as well. So when you go out, you have a very strong bond with the women that you've studied with. It's a residential program, so it is an even deeper bond, which you're spending all day together, and you're in the same hostel. There's a lot of group work, which sort of leads to all of these group dynamics and things like that. So definitely you will find time, you will make time to socialize. We will make you work hard, but we ensure that you have enough time to yourselves as well to be able to enjoy
to explore and have other pursuits. But also at the same time, it's important to recognize that this is a program in management practice, and blowing off steam is probably the last thing that you'll have on your mind here, because it is a residential program. It is intensive. You will be engaged with a host of activities, but it's important to understand that there is a range of activities that you're involved with. It's not just assignments and academia and guest sessions, but you have your mentors, you are traveling, you're expected to go for outbound modules to in the middle of the program. There's also
a
term
field
breaks.
Trip as well.
There's a field trip,
which is like it's a rural immersion trip, but it really is when the class comes together a lot. You're in a beautiful space in Madhya Pradesh, and it's a wonderful module as well. So there are enough things that are planned from the program team. There are enough things that are student-led, and there is enough time outside of that for you to do, to get to know the city as well. I think for a lot of people who are not from the city, it's very important to be able to experience that.
Yeah. Right. So is it? So Aishwarya has a couple of more questions. So I just want to remind everyone that the last date for application is round 2 is today, and for everyone who's halfway through or 20% into their apps, please complete your apps today to be in this round, or else your application will be considered in the next round. Right. So Aishwarya asks, we've already addressed the question about the program and the shadow mentor. Is it compulsory to be a resident, or can I opt for a day scholar as well? Right. How does that pan out for us?
It is a mandatory part of joining the program to be a resident scholar, and I think the reason for that is the peer learning that we hope to enable at the program. So yes, even if you are from Delhi, we highly encourage. Not just encourage, it is compulsory to stay in the hostel for the week. Everyone's allowed to go home on the weekend. I think most people who live in Delhi end up going home over the weekends. But it is very important for us that you all live together and also experience the program together as a cohort. And that peer learning is very important for us. The students at Vedica are from very diverse backgrounds. They are from all over the country. They are from different academic, professional, linguistic backgrounds. It's really important for us that peer learning and learning from that diversity takes place as a part of the residential aspect of the program.
Yeah.
So yes, no option to be a day scholar, Aishwarya. I'm sorry about this. Yeah. But you will enjoy it. I think nobody has regretted it.
Yeah, it's important to experience the living in a hostel in Delhi life. I think a lot of us scholars really enjoy helping people who have come outside of NCR and from southern states to explore the city and take them around if they are from Delhi. So residential aspect of this program is important because it creates a sense of a community which allows you to grow together, right? And this is a community that you will be going out into the world with. So if you do not want to spend time with them in the hostel right now, would you want to spend time with them later?
A student can visit her home during Saturday, Sunday. Yes, I just want to point out that the week at Vedica is actually Tuesday to Saturday. So the weekend is Sunday and Monday. This might strike you as odd, but the reason behind it is that a lot of our faculty members are professionals or industry experts or professionals who have day jobs as well, and they are keen to teach us on Saturdays. So and we didn't want to extend it into a 6-day week, so we've kept the working week between Tuesday and Saturday, and Sunday and Monday is completely off, so it's the weekend, and most students go home on Sundays and Mondays, and then they come back. Just want to add that we're also very strict about attendance, so make sure you're back on Tuesday morning so that you can attend all the classes that start at the beginning of the week.
Outside of the hours that's already been scheduled on the calendar, I think you're free to choose what you do.
Yes.
There may be a few activities in the hostel that you would want to be a part of, but other than that, we do not prescribe anything.
Yes.
Right. And
any other questions? This has been a very engaged group of attendees at the webinar. We're here for the next few minutes in case you want to ask us anything.
Right.
A quick reminder again to fill up the applications by tonight, last date for round 2. If any of you have questions around applying, I hope you all know, in case any of you have not applied yet, you can go onto our website, www.vedikascholars.com. Go into the admissions apply now page and log in, and it's a very straightforward form that you'll have to fill up, and then if you're shortlisted, you'll get a call for an interview.
Right. And feel free to reach out to us on social media and the email address and phone number provided on the website. We will respond to you as soon as we can. Questions around application, questions around academics, questions around resident life, anything is welcome. Please feel free to ask.
And right. I mean, just to sort of go back to our topic of the webinar, I think you will find that the courses are very carefully curated at Vedica, and the combination of management and liberal arts we have seen has been a successful curation and amalgamation until now. So we are excited for all of you to be here and experience that for yourselves.
And it's truly unique in a way that that other business schools have not explored so far. Not only are we an all women's college, which in itself is a strong statement in society today, but also our focus is diverse, right? Diversity is where we excel, and the individual is where our focus lies. Our mission is to develop holistic individuals who will go out into the workspace and make it more inclusive, more diverse, and that is something that we are strongly working towards. I think we have a couple of more questions that we can answer. Is there a particular section of faculty who specifically work for or teach at Vedica, or all members from the industry or visiting faculty?
Yeah, so I think the answer to this is most of our faculty are visiting faculty from the industry, but I think it's important to understand that we have had regular faculty who teach here every year and who actually invest a lot of time in our students. So, for example, Dr. Pranab Sen teaches many more hours than a usual visiting faculty would teach, and he's also available for student queries, for office hours, and to commit time beyond their coursework hours at Vedica. And so most of our faculty in management and liberal arts are actually people who come in year after year, and it is part of their sort of regular teaching calendar.
And some of them are also program mentors.
Some of them also program mentors. Some of them also, some of the program mentors are also invested in students as visiting faculty as well.
Visiting faculty. And it's not just faculty that you have access to. All of our guest lecturers are from the Vedica ecosystem. So as far as having an in-house faculty is concerned, you have access to all the faculty members who teach you and interact with you. Even though they are visiting faculty, once you reach out to the program team, we make sure all your doubts are cleared, and if you require any further assistance.
I think the communication center is something that is in-house. So you will find that Sandeep leads the communication center at Vedica, and Sandeep, his colleagues, all of us who conduct workshops and sessions as well. I think that is an in-house thing that is available to students throughout 24/7.
So, even though this webinar is not about the communication track, let me just tell you that the writing center here meets all the scholars individually 3 times a year. We identify the strengths and weaknesses in communication and work through them. Through the duration of the program, we are here for any assistance that you may have even after you have graduated.
Yes. There are some questions around process of acceptance and fee payment and education loans. So I think if you've received an offer from Vedica, what you have to do is send back a signed acceptance letter along with the demand draft, or make an NEFT transfer. Just write to us if you have any specific questions around this, but this is the standard process. Regarding education loan, we have affiliations with, I think, the Axis Bank and Credence for loans. So a lot of students then take up that option where they take a student loan, and then once they get a job, they repay that loan in their first year of
and they have many attractive portfolios available for students of Vedica. More information will be provided on this. Please feel free to write to info or call the number. They will be able to assist you regarding financial aid.
Yes, but there are various options available for you, so don't fret about that. What kind of food are we served at the hostel canteen? Asking the important questions, Nidhi. The food is, I don't want to blow our own trumpet, but we get very positive feedback on the food. The students are also actively involved in, food planning, and there is a food committee who's giving us constant feedback, making sure the students are happy with the meals provided at the hostel. And we have at many points received complaints from parents that students actually prefer this food in our hostel as compared to their home food. So I take that as a very positive sign for the food in the canteen. He's a very trusted caterer who's been with us for 10 years now from different programs and always been at Vedica. So extremely trusted in that sense. Do we get vacations or breaks? What if we say no? No, you will. You will get enough time to visit home. Don't worry at all. Big festivals like Diwali, the Christmas, New Year break, winter break, Holi break, summer break. You will have short periods of time where you can go home starting from anywhere
Chhattisgarh
between.
Is not too far away.
Yeah, Chhattisgarh is not too far away.
It's not too far. You should definitely not be concerned about this, because there will be people coming from Bangalore, from other remote areas in the country, which is very, very far away from Delhi.
Yes.
So
don't
you
worry,
will have enough time to visit home. Chhattisgarh, I don't know if it's a weekend travel away, but all of our weekends are free. We will have Sundays and Mondays free for you.
And there are some 4-day breaks on
term
say
breaks,
Holi. There are term breaks.
Yeah.
So
yes, nothing to worry about. What is the degree? If you extend our program and opt for
De Montfort University. Okay, so De Montfort University, as you may know, is our partner university in the UK. We are partners with their business school, which is called the Leicester Castle Business School. And they recognize our curriculum, and they recognize the 18 months that you do at Vedica for a certain number of credits in their program. And once you're done with the 18 months here, you can apply to their global MBA program or any other master's program. So actually they offer a lot of specializations that our students sometimes go in for. They have specializations in banking, finance, digital marketing, strategic marketing, intercultural communication. So you can check out their website. They have a host of master's programs that all of our students have access to. And the degree that you get at the end is it's a university recognized degree.
Yeah.
So if it's a global MBA degree, you will get a global MBA degree from De Montfort University, which will be an internationally recognized degree. So the advantage is that you only have to go there for a 3-month term as opposed to a 1-year program, because De Montfort University recognizes Vedica and the curriculum. You only go for 3 months, and then you can come back, finish the final project that they require you to do, and then get the degree that any of their other students would get, a standard degree.
And then you have, 2 years after Brexit to figure out the next steps?
Yeah, so now if you go and study there, you have the post-study work visa, which is allowed for Indian students. So it has become an attractive option for students. And Aishwarya, yes, that would be valid for any master's course that you opt for under the Leicester Castle Business School. So if you have any specific questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm very happy to answer questions about De Montfort University. Maybe we'll even do a separate webinar on the international option. How many people share a room? So it's a twin sharing. The room's on twin sharing basis. 2 people will be in a room. There's it has an attached bathroom. It is air conditioned, fully furnished.
Top of the line you can find in this area. All right. So
I think we can wrap up now.
Before we close, just want to remind everyone, the deadline is tonight. Please fill your applications.
In case we haven't said this enough, tonight is the deadline.
Tonight is the deadline, and if you haven't started, now's the time. It's a simple application. It's looking for something very specific. It's looking for an individual who is ready to work with us to become the best version of themselves. Right?
So for those who have not started, start today, finish tonight. Those who have started, definitely finish tonight. And those who have got offers and are joining, congratulations. We really look forward to seeing you here in August.
All right.
Be in touch.
Nice talking to you, Mohini.
Yes, great talking to you, Sandeep.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks all of you for your questions. It was an extremely engaged attendance. Thank you.
Yeah.